Welcome to Talk Yakima, where we interview locals, show you the great side of the Yakima Valley, and inspire the young minds. Get ready to inspire, Talk Nation. Now, your host, Tony White.
Give us a little backstory of who you are and what you let start in Networking Action Central Washington. What is it all about?
Well, I've grown up here in Washington, in Yakima, actually, moved away and came back. So I've been back here for 20 years now. And what led me down the path Network in Action is entrepreneurship can be a lonely process. And I was quickly reminded as I was helping people to buy and sell businesses, especially during the pandemic, and I would talk to them, and there was very little resources for them to connect with one another. There is networking groups, which is great, but not one that provides a platform for business owners. And so I started searching for that because I knew that my clients, that was what they were going to need in order to be not only supported, but to be successful in their journey. Sometimes somebody else has been down that road in their shoes and allows them to kind of shorten that learning curve. So in my search, I couldn't find one here in the Valley. And so therefore they always say when you can't find it, you need to build it. And the reason why I say was quickly reminded was because my dad, he was an entrepreneur. He owned a photography business. He was responsible for everything, getting clients, booking the appointments, making sure the bills were paid, the list goes on. You wear many, many hats when you're doing it by yourself. And I really remembered how it was a struggle for him and it was a strain on the family. And having that support really was something that I wanted to have other entrepreneurs benefit from. That's why I built that.
All right. One thing I like what you said too is, in entrepreneurship, if you find a gap in something and there's no outlet, or you find a problem, you find a solution, or you create the solution, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what you did. You just seen that gap there of the opportunity and seized the moment, right?
Yes. And not only for Yakima, because I see a lot of different groups. They're all siloed, all individual, but they don't really talk or collaborate with each other. And that was something that I wanted to have that was different, because Tri-Cities, Lower Valley, we're not that far apart from one another. And why not do business and connect with each other to help grow?
That was just going to be my next question. What makes it any different? But yeah. So, you pretty much answered that. And what sets it aside to other groups?
I suppose I can add on to that part.
Sure.
For what makes us different is, business owners, they don't have a lot of time in their day, right? So they really need to be strategic in what they do and the time that they allot. So having a once a month meeting and then staying connected electronically, through social media is a great platform to be able to provide that and lend itself to entrepreneurs to still gain that sense of community and being in touch with each other, and then still staying connected electronically. So then that way, it's not like you're just one and done and forgotten. So.
Right. So what's your vision for the whole community though? As everybody in the group, as it builds, as it gets more people involved, more local businesses, what is your overall vision of everything?
Yeah, thank you for asking. That always excites me. So my vision is I will start with 4 groups. So I have one in Yakima, which is already up and running. I have my Tri-Cities group as well, which has been formed. And then I'm building the Lower Valley group, which is essentially from Wapato to Prosser. And then I will do an online group for all women, because I see that there's still women that they still work in the household and they are the sole providers of children and can't always get away. But what I want to do is provide a platform to have essentially 30 people plus in each of these groups. So then you don't only have 30 people that you're talking to and connecting with, but essentially you'll have 120 plus people within the Central Washington area. So that's really where I'm seeing that vision of growth across Central Washington and that collaboration for all of us.
I like the idea. I remember you because we talked before. I remember you saying I like the women aspect. I'm not a woman, but obviously, but I'm just saying I think it's nice to have that separation
Hmm.
because women with power, in business, there's a lot of women in business.
Yeah.
And being married, I know, women are powerful. They're out there to make a difference, and they make a huge difference in our society.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that you create a group so there's no pressure from the outside, and something for them to get away from too. Their mundane life. A lot of times people have, they get stuck in that motion
Hmm.
of just every single day it's the same process. So
Yes.
so this can break that up, give women the opportunity to network and connect with other women who can share a lot of the same differences, or I guess same differences wouldn't be it, but so
Yeah. And what I see also for the vision is kind of a hybrid, so like the women in business one, that one will be online, but we'll get a chance within the month to be able to meet with everybody in person. And then I will also bring on some other things where if we're talking about LinkedIn, and how to upgrade your profile there, I can do that online. So that way we have everybody on, and they can work on their own profile while we're going through some steps together. So everything that we do is going to provide value back to your business. So it's not a time that's just wasted just to say, hi, how are you? What's your name? What do you do? But it's more of, let's get some value back into your business. And so then that way you can continue to grow. And then the platforms that we offer within Network in Action, such as the Sales Mastery, it's not only good for you, but it's also good for you and your team, because they also need to grow professionally and personally as well. And great retention tool for business owners.
right on. That's good information. I'm going to show this. So that's correct, right? NIA
Yeah.
Central Washington LA.com or
Yep.
WA.com. So for any of our listeners, that's what you can go to. It's NIA Central WA.com, and they can find information there as well, right?
Yes, so they will be able to see when is our next upcoming dates for across the valley. And then if maybe they can't make one, I had somebody just recently, they couldn't make one for the lower valley. So they wanted to come to the Yakima one to check it out. I'm more than happy to accommodate. Yeah.
So you allow other people from other areas to come to a meeting in other areas then.
Absolutely, yes. It's all about collaboration. I don't feel like you should just be able just to visit. I mean, you really are trying to build these relationships. I see that as a win-win. Just for an example, we have somebody who's a realtor in the Lower Valley group, and she's going to start talking to a mortgage broker who is in the Tri-Cities group. He is needing to talk and connecting with more realtors. And because she has a platform of her own that she teaches realtors, that's going to lend itself to him to be able to get to meet more people in that way and in a warm.
So one of the questions is, so what is the next step? What is crowd coaching exactly? I
Yeah.
mean, can you explain that to our audience? There's people listening and watching. So just what is crowd coaching?
So crowd coaching is where, again, I've looked in the valley to see where are we doing well, and what is missing here for business owners, because that's really my main focus is business owners, entrepreneurs, and so people who are thinking about starting a business, or have just started, maybe they've been in it 6 months, a year, and they still need some help. So what we're going to do is we are bringing experts to them. It will be here in Yakima, and then I will also have a platform online as well to be able to set up once a month where they're going to have somebody like an attorney is going to come and talk to them. Why is it important to set up an LLC? How do you protect yourself from legal issues? Things like that. And these are all going to be, the experts are going to be people who are members already in Network in Action, that will provide a platform for them, such as a bookkeeper. What's the difference between a bookkeeper and accountant, and when should you use what? How do you set up your books? How do you open a bank account? Those things. And then people like you, Tony, getting them out there, and how do they get connected in their social media? What platforms should they be using? And what's the best strategy? Because you can throw a lot of money out there and not get any return on the investment back. So we want to make sure that we help the future entrepreneurs to gain a good foothold, so they can be successful. Yeah. and have that lifeline to somebody like you who's an expert in your field, and they can go, okay, Tony gave me some good tidbits. I really like the way that he presented that, and I need more of it. So now I know who I can reach out to. So it's a good platform for new entrepreneurs and then people who are currently in network in action.
And even experience. So when if somebody's in business, is there like a time frame that they should join? Is this something like somebody can just go have a business one day? They went down, got a business license, goes to a meeting, finds it useful, and decides to join.
Yes and no. It depends. If they've had years of experience already in this and they're like, okay, now I'm going to be a new business owner, I think I would want them to at least start somewhere where it's a little softer landing, such as the crowd coaching, so they can get those tidbits. And then after that, if they're like 3 months in and they're like, you know what, I have a really good grasp on this. I just needed those little nuances to really get me to level up to my next level in my business. I'm ready to join the group. Then great. Then we can roll them in, provided that slot is available, because it is industry specific. And then the beauty of Network in Action is we can also guarantee your return on investment. So, or your next year's free. So who else can say that? I love saying that. So
right.
Yeah.
So nobody has got a year free yet, right?
Nobody's gotten a year free yet. No.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that means that things are working.
Yeah. Awesome. There's nothing better than hear, things going on the right track. So how many members locally are currently?
So right now we have 15 members. And they can range from a printing company all the way to a virtual assistant that we have here in Yakima. So
Is that 15 just in Yakima or 15 all?
15 just in Yakima. I have another 12 over in Tri-Cities and building the other group. So there's plenty of room for growth, which is exciting for me, and always willing and wanting to help business owners.
So I'm going to throw a little curveball in here for a second.
Yeah.
So just what was the hardest thing for you in starting this up? What was like something that was really hard that you had trouble overcoming, but you still did it?
I was told a lie. I was told that if I got my high school diploma, I would go far in life. And that simply was not the case. I was stuck at a 40-hour work week and stayed there for years as administrative assistant. And it wasn't until my daughter came to work with me one day, and she was talking with the doctors that I worked with, and she told them she wasn't going to go to college. And she said, I don't have to go to college because my mom didn't go to college. And that was a real gut punch to me, that I needed to strive for more in life for my children and not stay stuck where I was at. I went to college for the first time as a non-traditional student in my 40s. I worked full-time, raised a family, and I went to school full-time. And I can proudly say that in 2018, I was the first person in my family to receive a bachelor's degree, summa cum laude. And from there, my husband had said, you should own your own business. And I thought to myself, I just accomplished this huge feat. Can I just stop here? I mean, I feel like I'm really good right now. And so I dismissed the idea, not just because of that, but I was scared and I didn't know what that looked like. And it wasn't until I had overheard two of my friends, they were talking about what they do and what they love doing and how it feels like breathing to them. And I was like, my heart just dropped, because I knew deep down inside I was not living my best self, and I knew I had to make a change. And so I started to pray for guidance in my life. Where's my purpose? Who am I to help? What am I to do? And that's when I had met Maria, and things had turned for me. She was somebody who wasn't from the Valley. She was new to the area. She had started a business, and COVID was preventing her also from going into people's homes to gain more clients. So I had suggested to her that she join a networking group, and she was hesitant. She didn't have a ton of money. And 8 months later, she came back to me and said, thanking me for all that I had done for her, helping to support her, helping to get her name out there, helping to make connections for her, and guiding her along the way. And she said, now my business is doing so well. She had to hire employees. Her phone was ringing off the hook, and she's working the business now where she's only doing commercial janitorial service, which is amazing. And I'm so excited for her. And she had told me one thing. She had said, whatever it is you're doing, keep doing that. And that was my aha moment. I am good at networking. I've been doing it for years. And that was my contribution back to my community and to help others and to strive for more. So that was when I was all in with, I'm going to own a networking business, but it was focused on entrepreneurs and business owners, and to help them, to support them. And so that's really what led me down that path. And so that's what started Network in Action.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's good information right there. I mean, it's powerful stuff. A lot of tidbits, a lot of good information that even younger people could take advice of. I mean, to me, it's always good to define a buddy system. You know,
Absolutely.
being an entrepreneur, you know, going through the trenches, you don't have the support. A lot of them don't even have the support of their spouses. Yeah.
Correct.
So all I see is money going out and nothing coming in for a long time, you know, being an entrepreneur and stuff like that. And then it's just like another thing that really resonated with me is that you also said, you know, go after what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know, if something's working, that's one thing that's really hard too as an entrepreneur, because we see so many, you know, squirrel effect. You know, we see so many nice shiny little toys and want to deviate from what we're focusing, and we lose focus and go for the shiny. You know, so I just think one of the good things too is, like you said, is that if you're good at something, or your friend said this, right? And do that. You're good at it. Do it. You know, master a skill. And if you don't know, if you're not sure, pick something and just learn it, you know, and apply it. And then after that, you become a master in your field, you know, good resource. Pick up something as you go later, you know.
Right. And something that you said, Tony, that I really do appreciate is I'm surrounding myself with people who are not only like-minded, but they're experts in their field, like you know, you bring so much energy to the room, and ideas, and it's nice to be able to bounce that off of somebody else who thinks like you do. You're an expert in what you do, and you teach me so many new things. And I'm like, I didn't know that, you know. So that's what I love the most, is when I get to know somebody and I get to learn more about what they do, because it just helps me to be a better person and connects me with somebody else who is the expert, right? And so I love that part about it. So that
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'll put the check in the mail. But no, it's just, you know, I mean, I've only been with your group for a short time. You know, or I should say this month was my first actual membership meeting, you know, where I was a paid member. And even from the get-go, from the very first time I showed up at your meeting as a guest, you know, I already seen the value, I seen the energy, and it's nice because you don't have this big group of hundreds of people, right? And you have people who each one, like, you only provide a certain niche, you know, for each person that can be in there. You don't have 100 Starbucks owners in there, you know, per se. So it's nice to learn different aspects in different businesses and how they do things and learn it, because even though they're in a different medium than you are, you can still pick up stuff that they provide that you can apply to your own business. And if it doesn't, you can apply a little bit and maybe kink it to where it does apply to your business. So there's there's a lot of education in there between everybody that's, you know, in that room. I can feel the synergy and the camaraderie and, everybody being, it's a good time. I like it.
Yeah, and it's not the same every month. It's not, you don't have to do elevator pitches. There's no volunteering, you get to come and you get to be the expert in your field. And there's times when we have a topic. Just I think it was last month or so where it was someone had come in and said, I just not sure which platform I should be using. There's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn. I mean, your head can just spin on, you have to do all these different things. But if we can narrow it down and find where is your target market, your clients, who you want to talk to, it's going to make life a little bit easier for you. But then you have all these other business owners that they can give you a little bit of tidbits and insight along the way that you may not have ever learned on your own, or it may have taken you years to learn it. So shortening that learning curve is really important, especially when time is money, and entrepreneurs, a lot of times we're working hard and not seeing a lot of return in the beginning, but you get to see it towards the end. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, not a problem. So one thing I always like to ask guests too is, what do you say to like a teenager, high schooler, somebody who's in high school? A lot of us, when we were there, none of us, we always had plans, but none of us ever followed the plan, right? Yeah. So what advice, that you would give a teenager, a high schooler, to pursue their dream, or what they should be doing?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I do have a high schooler right now. She said something to me the other day, which was, you don't think that they're listening anymore because they get to a certain level, they just kind of start tuning out. And she goes, I want to be like you. I want to be busy like you. And I'm like, okay, well, being busy is one thing, but being passionate about what you want to do and where you want to go, then that's what you need to focus on, and so her goal right now is to graduate and get out of the house as soon as possible. And I'm like, okay, well, you can do that provided you finish your high school diploma. And if you want to leave sooner than later, then you need to at least have your AA under your belt. So then you should at least do the running start, because that's a free avenue of getting your education without having to pay a lot of money. And then now she says, I want to own a dog grooming business. So I'm like, great. So what does that look like for you? So let's talk about that. And she may change that later on in life, and that's okay. But I think all young people should try something that they like, because they don't make it as hard as I think that older people do. I think sometimes we make it a little too difficult. So oftentimes what they can do is go down that passion. So if you're wanting to be like a dog groomer, like my daughter did, go ahead and go shadow somebody, for a day or a weekend or what have you, learn what it means to do that role. And if it's something that you still enjoy, then continue to pursue those little tidbits along the way and keep talking to people, especially talk to adults, because we want to help those entrepreneurs, those future leaders, to be successful in life. And I think a lot of times they tend to shy away from that, thinking they may be bothering us or occupying too much of our time. But really, a lot of us have a heart for wanting to give back to our community and to support those younger people. So
that's good stuff. Is there anything else that you would like our audience to know about you or the business?
Well, about me. That's a good question. I think a lot of people already know me here in the Valley. And really what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to talk to a lot more business owners across Central Washington. That doesn't mean that I need to talk to you to join the what we're doing, but it's more of the more people that I know, the more that I can connect people together. So I would love to have a conversation with you, and we can do a virtual coffee, or in person. You can see that there's you can schedule a time with me, or you can give me a call as well, 509-571-6690. Love to talk, love to learn more about what you're doing and how I can help contribute. And as far as Network in Action, come check us out. We're very different. There's nothing to be afraid of with us. We want you to be successful. And I feel like there's more than enough room for networking to have another platform that's going to help you to level up your business and get you more connected. Not only central Washington, but we are international as well. And we have monthly meetings with business owners across our nation here. So I'd love to know how I can help. So that's what I'm here for.
All right, Monica. Well, I appreciate your time today. This was a wealth of information. I mean, it's good to learn about you personally, your insights, your history. And one more time, if people want to get a hold of you, what was your phone number again?
Yeah, it's 509-571-6690.
Great. And I'll also put it on our website. This will all be on the website, and they'll be in the show notes too. I'll let people know how to get a hold of you. And you can also visit her website at niacentralwa.com. I appreciate your time, Monica, and to your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Talk Yakima with Tony White. Make sure to visit talkyakima.com and sign up for our latest podcast, news, and events. Thank you, Talk Nation.